Hello and welcome to Upper Echelon Matchmaking Podcast. I'm your host, Shay Primus, owner of Upper Echelon Matchmaking. And today I am joined by my girl, my homegirl, T. And she is an intuitive, she's all the things, like really. So I'm just going to let her introduce herself.
Thank you.
She's all the things.
I hope they know we're going to giggle this whole time.
Right.
This is good. So I'm Tamara Angela, better known to my clients as Faery Godmother, psychic medium, intuitive consultant for Upper Echelon
Yes,
Matchmaking.
welcome to Upper Echelon Matchmaking. And I want to talk about the services that you provide for us as well, because I'm telling you, I know that there is not a matchmaking service, period, that has this to offer, and I'm super, super, super excited about it.
Yes.
So I reached out to her because she is really all the things. She's actually a therapist, number one. And we both went to Clark Atlanta, and we also both went to the University of Georgia, and we have the same degree at the University of Georgia. I mean, we have like so much alignment. We're both Capricorns. We're both Virgo, Scorpio, Venus and Scorpio.
Venus and Scorpio.
We're both Venus and Scorpio. We both have air rising.
signs.
So we're like in sync with each other. So much so. And anyway, I reached out to her because a lot of my clients want to know if people are astrologically compatible. And what better way than to have somebody on staff who can really analyze that for you and tell you this is who you are and this is who would be compatible to you from an astrological perspective. So that's one of the services that she provides for us. And she did that for me.
I know. We're going to talk about
Yes,
yours a little bit. I have yours here.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think, I mean, as far as astrology goes, a lot of people go for what their sun sign is. So we're like, hey, it's Capricorn season.
Of course.
Hey, it's Scorpio
and we rep
season.
Capricorn hard. Like,
the whole team.
the
I think.
whole
Just
month
about the
is
whole
like,
team,
Team Capricorn. We go hard on Capricorn. But we're so much more than just our sun sign.
Yeah, we have a lot of different layers. So your sun sign is like your normal essence. It plays into like your ego and your basic essence. Your moon sign is your emotional stability, right? And then you have this rising sign, better known as your ascendant, and that shows you the version of you that people meet when they first meet you. So this can kind of sort of be why like you could meet somebody and not really like them the first time, like you guys not get along, and then you meet them again in another layer of yourself and you're like, oh my God, this is my best friend. I really love this person.
Yes.
So yeah.
And like for me, like we were just talking, my rising is Gemini. So people think that I'm the most bubbly, friendliest, get along with everybody person. And I think I come across like that because I'm Gemini rising, but I'm really a Capricorn, like trust.
Yeah.
So I do filter who gets to me. Like you don't get this close to me. I do filter that, but you don't know that when you meet me. You just think, oh, she likes everybody. She doesn't.
She does not. She does not.
Right.
And that's a hard thing. So you're also incorporating the elements, right? So as a Capricorn, you are an earth sign. As a Gemini rising, that's air. When you think about that with the elements, the air brushing over the earth, right? There's a space where that air can kind of move that rigid earth sign and make it like get up and get out of its routine. So that's going to be the part of you that's like, I'm going to put on something cute and go outside. My air rising sign people, so that's Gemini rising, I'm a Libra rising, and Aquarius rising. They tend to be like the socialites. So there's a piece of you, your air energy is telling your Capricorn like, girl, get up, put something cute on, let's go outside. That's when you kind of end up outside floating. That's the socialite part of you. And then your Capricorn wakes up and is like, who is this?
Right. My Capricorn is judgy. Like my Capricorn, and my Capricorn likes status, and also I'm a Taurus moon. So I'm all about status. I know this sounds
Luxury.
real luxury. Upper echelon is really me at the core, y'all. Like that's really who I am. And I think people resonate with it now because you realize that's really who I am. Like,
It's
period.
truly who you are.
It's truly me.
Truly.
I'm all about luxe and all about the the finer things in life.
Yeah.
So, but it really speaks to my Capricorn and my Taurus moon. They're both
They're
into
both
all
earth
finer
signs,
things. Yes.
and Taurus is the more romantic of the
Yes.
earth signs because it's ruled by Venus. And so there's going to be this space where at heart, like, you really want the best for people. This is your loyalty level. But then you're also going to be like, I like that. Yeah, it's expensive, but I worked for it. This is me.
That's my toxic trait. I'm always treating myself because I feel like I've earned it. Like, it's like, you know what? Yeah, but you earned it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. So yeah, I like people to understand what we kind of call our big three.
Yes.
So your sun, your moon, and your rising. But also what's important is your Venus sign.
Yes, because
this
that's
is
how you are in relationships.
That's who you are in
And
relationships.
this is so important because people don't understand. You could be all the things we just said, but in a romantic relationship, I'm somebody else because I'm Venus and Scorpio. It is so passionate. It's a little cray.
It's a little crazy.
It's a little crazy.
And I'm saying this as a fellow Venus and Scorpio. So this
Like,
is where
I think Capricorn makes us appear so buttoned up and so poised.
it does. It does. And then otherwise, and then we also have Lilith and Leo.
Lilith.
So your Lilith is your sensuality, your
Yes.
sexual nature. So there really are people who are designed for like more monogamy.
Yes.
Like they really can't do casual sex. So that's going to be like my Lilith and Cancer people. They're really not good at that kind of
I know
thing.
I don't have that because I could.
Yeah.
I
Lilith and Leo, we
Yeah.
are fiery, and I kind of equate it to being like the Pied Piper, so people can really.
We do lure people, which really makes it easy for me in matchmaking because I shoot my shot with men this is what I do. I shoot my shot with men for my clients all day long.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm luring them. It's
Yeah.
just what I have to do. And it works.
It's an easy kind of magic,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, like I'm looking at your Venus sign, I'm looking at your Lilith, because we want to look at your Mars
Yes,
too.
yes.
That's your sexual drive.
Yes.
That's your just your motivation, right? So if you have somebody who has a Mars in like an earth sign, they're going to be more sedentary. They're going to be the type of person that, they're dependable, kind of like your 9-to-5 folks. If you are not a 9-to-5 kind of person, because there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing's wrong with it. If that's what you do.
Absolutely wrong. Nothing wrong with that. If
gotta
that
pay the
is your
bills.
build,
Yeah.
if that's who you are, routine-wise, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you see this other person and you guys have good chemistry, but you don't get along where your Mars is concerned, that's going to be
A problem.
problematic.
But see, this is the thing. People stop at their sun sign and you're like, well, we're compatible, but you ain't looked at all these other layers. And then when they start coming out, you're wondering why it's unraveling. So this is why I've engaged you to run this composite.
Yeah.
And you're able, I saw mine, I was so excited because she was able to tell me, like, literally, this is who you are, Shay, and this is the type of person you'd be most compatible with. And it wasn't just a sun sign. It was like, you need somebody that understands this. You need somebody that relates here. You need somebody that is patient here. Because it's a real breakdown that we don't get. You can't get this
don't really
online,
get
y'all.
that.
You can't get this on no website. You can only get this through Upper Echelon Matchmaking through my girl T.
Yes. So yeah, I run your chart based on your natal information. So this is your birth date, exact time of birth, as exact as possible. I say that because everybody's birth certificate doesn't
have the time.
have their time. Quite frankly, sometimes people don't remember the time. I mean, I have a 12, well, she'll be 12 next month. For all this time, I thought I went into labor at 4:30 and had her at 4:55. I have run her chart at 4:55 for years until last week when the school called and was like, hey, we need a copy of her birth certificate. And I said, I lost that, but I have the hospital announcement that they signed. And I pulled it out and it said she was born at 3:55 p.m. And I was like,
does that change something about her?
it changed as far as like the degrees go, and some of the things that are in the houses for her, but it didn't change like her bigger planets and stuff like that. And I looked and I was like, oh my God, her whole life I've had it off by an hour.
Just an hour. Don't beat yourself up.
But it's,
Just an hour.
it speaks to the fact that people, I mean, how you remember these events. So sometimes folks are like, oh, well, my mom said that I was born in sometime in the evening. Well, sometime in the evening is a span of like 6 hours.
Especially if you're on the cusp. And I want you to talk about that because you say there is no such as being on the cusp.
No, I don't believe in cusp. Now, there are other astrologers who believe in cusp, and that's fine. But I don't believe in cusp because the sun can only be in one place at one time. So what we're doing with the exact time is clocking basically the movement of the sun. Honestly, we know the sun never goes anywhere. It's just how it appears in the sky to us. So the sun, well, what today is?
Today begins Pisces.
The 18th. Yes.
Yesterday at 5 p.m.
5:34.
Yes. So like to that point, if you were born at 5:20, you would still be an Aquarius. But if you were born at 5:30, you would be a Pisces.
If you're born at 5:35,
you're a Pisces. So that's why that time matters.
That time makes a big difference. That's the difference between you being an air sign and a water sign.
Two different things.
It's two different people.
Yeah.
But ideally on the same day. And then with things moving, there's going to be a point at which Pisces may usher in on the 19th. So those days, so anywhere between like the 18th and the 23rd or so of the month, you do have to check. Because I've had some clients have their natal chart done. Some of them thought that they were Cancers all their lives and they were Geminis.
Wow. And it makes a difference. So, okay. So let's talk about people, because you know there are going to be some people out here who are heavily religious and they might think, well, astrology, that's not of God. I always like to remind people that the 3 wise men who found baby Jesus were what? Astrologers.
They were astrologers, the Magi, and they
following
were following
the star in the sky. And we sing about the 3 kings and 3 wise men. I mean, it's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. And, you know, for me, because I'm a psychic medium, I just tell people that you're here because you followed the light. If you are talking about God and you know God's light, then you know why you ended up on my doorstep. So I don't typically, I mean, I'm Christian, been raised Christian, go to church all the time, was in church this morning. And so I do tell people that it's like, yeah, when I'm translating things, I'm hearing angels speak. Or, I mean, this is the only, like I have that direct to God, like that's it. When people have issues believing that, I just tell them that they're not for me. you know,
I don't really attract.
I don't challenge that.
I don't attract like, who.
Zealots.
I really do not. And I'm okay with you going to more people who are aligned with you, because I'm a hippy dippy. Like, you know, you come in my house, you're gonna see some crystals, you're gonna see some sage. You know,
I want you to get what you need to get, and I want you to really believe in the messenger. But yeah, that's a conversation for people personally.
That's a personal thing. If you don't feel led to come, I'm okay with that, because I know that the people who are for me are for me. And there's some people who are going to get so much out of this, and they're going to be like, oh my God, I never knew all of this about myself. Because one of the things that I want to do with Upper Echelon is give you so many data points about yourself that you, like, no matter what happens, you have all this data on you, and you know who you are, period. And then here's who you be compatible with, period.
Exactly.
Whether I match you or you meet somebody on your own, you know the type of person that you'd be compatible with. So I'm giving you these tools to help you in life. And so that's how I look at it from my perspective. And if you don't appreciate it, well, then you might not be for me.
It's simply a tool, you know? For me, astrology is fun. And it's just a fun way to learn about myself and to learn about other people and how we relate. And then also with me having, you know, the degrees in psychology and having the master's in social work and having been clinical, I mean, the forefathers of psychology, they studied astrology. And so your id, your superego, and your ego are your sun, your moon, and your rising.
Girl, stop. It's the same thing. You don't say.
It is.
Well, I mean that's schooling folks.
A lot of the psychological principles are based on a lot of mysticism. And so there really is that parallel there. Things aren't that disconnected as people would like them to be. There's a lot of fear, and what I encourage people to do is learn how to use their intuition. And so I'm like, you're here, intuitively you were led. You're here with Shay, you were led to her. If you're here, let's tap into our intuition. Figure out what that's about. You know, what does that look like? Why am I here? What am I supposed to get?
Yeah.
So
At least get a better understanding of who you are. Because what I find, like when you did my composite, it was really like eye-opening. Like, this is who I am on all these different levels. And it made so much sense.
Yeah.
Because,
just to be able to see yourself.
Yeah, because like you said, being a Venus and Scorpio, that means even though I'm a Capricorn and I know I am, when you're in a relationship with me, it is like being with a Scorpio. And that is different, as we all know. And all the things I don't like to admit is true, though.
It is.
I can be possessive. I can be vindictive. Like, all those things can come out. I don't like to own it. I don't like to admit it, but it's true.
It is, you know. And this even, so for instance, you have the houses. So the houses are dictated by where the sun was in the sky. So for your ascendant, that's where the sun was at its height. For your 12th house, that's when it was at its lowest. So I look at like house 3, which is communication. That's a biggie when it comes to compatibility. What is your Mercury? What does that look like? Looking at your house 9, that's personal development and travel. If you have somebody who is in the relationship that really is more of a homebody, like not because they've nature versus nurture and they've developed that muscle. It's like, no, I really like the comfort of home. If you have one person in the relationship that's like that and the other person just like out and about, they're a socialite, they're floating around, both of those people can actually be compatible if everybody lets the other person just be who they are and just respect that. So if I know that my mate is like, they're gonna go in the room and they're gonna work the room, and I can respect that and be like, let me just let them have it. I'm gonna go sit over there and I'm good sitting over there while they work the room. And I don't make them feel away for being the person who works the room. There's where compatibility lies. But you have to have that awareness, that self-awareness that this is just like, this is who I am. I'm not changing that part of me because that's part of my makeup. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And I want you to be you.
Yeah. And it's all about compromising and understanding each other and knowing where to give each other grace, right? Because you need to know, okay, I'm going to have to give her grace here. I'm going to have to give him grace there.
Yeah.
And that's what this is doing, is showing you awareness of who you are and the type of person that will be best suited for you. So get into my astrological composite. What do you call it again? You call it
I called it the composite astrology report.
Okay. And so y'all, she broke me all the way down. And this is the same report that we give to all of my clients. They get this, and I'm excited to be able to share it because I know no other matchmaking services offering this, and I'm very, very, very excited about it.
Yes. So we talked about some of the houses, the house 3, the communication, Mercury. Yours is all in fire, like mine.
We're like so similar. It's so crazy.
Really similar. It's crazy. So that is a person, the way I describe it is like you have no chill. Like you're never going to have it. It's a person that is very straightforward. So somebody who has, like, let's say a Mercury in Cancer, they may be, they're very intuitive, number one, but they may be a little slower to speak. They may take their time. They may not speak at all. And so that Mercury in Sagittarius can be a little biting for that Mercury.
It is. I literally have to, like, not speak at all in order to not say how I really feel. Because if I feel it, you're going to get it. Let me just chill for a second because you're going to get it. Yeah.
But in another respect, that speaks to your purpose. You have to be able to be that type of person who speaks up and who speaks out and advocates for your clients. That's what pays you well.
Yeah.
And then for you, you were 55% earth energy. And your fire energy was at 14%. That was about your fire and your air energy were both at 14%. So you are more earth, air, fire. when you look at those elements, that's how you want to look at compatibility as well. So I said you would do best with somebody who's fire dominant, because that's going to keep all your fire energy inspired. They won't try to extinguish that fire energy. People that I work with who have a lot of fire energy, people try to extinguish it a lot.
Oh my God, is that why people try to tame me? Like these men that be like, oh, I see you all loose and wild. Let me tame you and put you in the cage. That is not going to work, sir.
I literally had, because I am earth and fire dominant. Fire is my second at a very high rate. And I've had men say, I had one guy say, well, if I take you on a date, would you stop doing all that stuff? Like, do you just do all that stuff online because you're single? And
Sir?
I was like, first of all, who said that you were, like, taking me on a date was an
It's a
option?
privilege for you to take me on a date. Let's start with that.
We weren't even talking about you.
Did I agree to the date? What are we talking about?
I don't even know where this conversation came from. So it's strange, but people see that fire, so it's a moth to a flame. They're very excited by it. They're very drawn to it. But then when they get there, it's like, wait, this is kind of warm. Can she tone that down?
Yeah, I had a guy say to me, I would love to be in a relationship with you, but one thing I'm worried about is you're so transparent. Okay, that's me, boo. You either this ain't for you. Just say that. It's
strange. And then I said for you, somebody with a median amount of water energy would be great for balancing your earth dominance, but you want to make sure they're not too much water, because what happens when you have too much water on earth, you got mud.
Right.
Stuff gets a little sticky.
Yeah.
It's hard to move. That's going to make you feel super uncomfortable.
I've been there. Not going to do that again. Yeah.
So even thinking, and then you're a Capricorn sun, but you are a Taurus fixed signature, which means that you present very Taurus-like. This is the opulence.
Yes.
This is the shade.
So I'm so opulent.
Like, that's the shade that we know.
Yes.
So with you having so much earth dominance, a lot of your earth energy is Taurus. So this is your Venus influence. This is that goddess energy. This is that person that wants to help find the balance for people and help them find love.
Yeah. It's like, it really feels like I have to do this. I wonder, and we'll talk about this later, if this is what I agreed to do when I came on earth, because
Probably.
I can do this for the rest of my life. I love helping people find love.
You probably did.
I really think I might have told the Lord, send me to heaven, let me help people find love, like for real.
Yeah, I mean, and there are certain people who are placed on this earth to be love personified.
Yes.
And so they are love energy in a human form. We
That's
have
so
to have that.
beautiful. Yeah.
We have to have that.
That's
So yeah, just with the composite, I mean, we break a lot of things down.
It's beautiful. It's great. And I think everybody should get it. And so if you haven't done so, you need to sign up at Upper Echelon Matchmaking, and it is a part of my services, and you will get this.
It's exciting to do.
You do it real fast. Like, so does people send you this? Because tell people what you need. Tell them what information you need to create it.
So date of birth, place of birth. And I say place of birth because everybody doesn't always know where they were born. Things happen. I mean, everybody has a birth story. And then exact time of birth. Exact meaning for some people, it's not on their birth certificate. And that's just kind of the way it is. I haven't figured out what the reason is for that. A lot of people have the hospital card that has the exact time on there, so that's helpful. But as long as you can get it within the hour, at least for me, preferably like the half hour, 15 minutes, as close as possible. Because if you don't have it, don't let that deter you from coming.
Because you can still get additional things.
Because there are still things that we can do as far as like the personal planets go. As long as certain things weren't really moving around planetary wise for that day, there's a lot of information that we can still get.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to have this information on hand, because at least you know who you are and the type of person that you'd be most compatible with from an astrological perspective. And that's
it helps with friendships too.
Yeah, friendships, like who could be a good friend for you and what qualities that you need to seek out. I think it's just helpful to know the kind of people that you click with. Parenting,
I do it for,
yes.
I do it for, like, well, I call them mommy and me charts, but for parents all the way around. I do the couples charts. It's very helpful. So by the time folks are coming to you, then hopefully everybody will have their match, and then they can come together and look at their
do the
charts
couples,
and
and then they
see.
could have kids and do the kids. It's a whole package deal. Well, sis, I really appreciate this chat. Thank you
yes.
so very much. I really think that we're going to be making some magic together.
We are. We are.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us at Upper Echelon Matchmaking Podcast.